sunshine out of all the clouds. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's my last week of Finland. I'm absorbing all the trees and cloud and rain and sunshine and perfect weather and perfect feelings and learnings. And this thing's on me, trying to get around it. It's stuck to me. How funny is that? Whoa, going down too. Jesus. It's all slipping up here. The hot tub is falling apart. The mat is falling apart. I almost ate shit. But that's not what I wanted to start on today. It's just a hell of a day. It's a day I get to process so many different emotions, from having one of the best nights in Helsinki to last night trying to reduplicate or replicate something the time has already experienced. Even the people that weren't there, they weren't there. They're not in the memory. And then to try to go meet up with my friends, and they didn't want to make memories. They wanted to stay in bars and get wasted and make bad decisions and just kind of self-destruct themselves. And I'm not one to really kind of sit and watch people do that. And I've seen a couple friends do it, come to Finland, come to Las Vegas, and just wild out. Shit gets weird, and then you start massaging an Uber driver. Just not cool shit, you know, and or explaining your intentions is another one I just experienced. So I was just like, wait, what? What are we doing? And why are we doing it? Trust me. I'm like, I don't trust people that say trust me. I have a tough time with trust me. I have a tough time with duality, that anybody could be different than who you think that they are. You know, I label my company Saints Addiction because we are mostly saints, but there's the other half of people that you just don't know what they're about. You don't know their sexual interests. You don't know their kinks. You don't know the other side of them. That happens, and people just, ooh, there's a fucking joint here. There's already a joint here. I think it's time to smoke it. Maybe it's a cigarette. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna roll a bowl. I need a bowl. It's been a hell of a journey here, folks. Just recalculating the last week of Finland and how my life has impacted other people's lives. You don't know what kind of damage you've done, you know, till you can get some self-reflection and closure from another individual. Being able to talk to my ex in the back of the taxi heading back from Helsinki, and finally having a relationship where someone doesn't hate me, did want to spend time with me, didn't mind that we had a relationship, didn't mind how it ended, and that's just the way it went, you know? There's a lot of that. There we go, little chain. Little people that get into animosity. I even got to ask her, you know, they say you can interview your ex. I never got to see the pain that she experienced from knowing I went to prison. You know, you end up hurting more people than just yourself. That's a lot of reflection to realize that your shit doesn't always shine, and that sometimes your horns shine more, and that sometimes your pervert shines more, your perverted side shines more, your horny side shines more, your sexual side shines more. Sometimes you're very religious. Sometimes you can be very pious and feel connected to some kind of reverence and tradition. And then sometimes we are completely self-destructive and getting in our hedonism and our swallowing and snorting and consuming and fucking, just doing anything we can to feel differently and free from whatever our mental instability is at that time. It's a motherfucker, bro. It's been a motherfucker for me to rip my head back and take a look at, examine not only how my life had impacted other people's lives, but also in a good way, where she had thanked me for, you know, getting her out of Finland and having an adventure, even if it was short lived, even though I was always like, I'm only gonna break your heart. You know what I'm saying? That song was huge when we were dating. I remember that, and I was like, that's kind of the thing. That's that fuck boy image that my ex, the other ex, was talking about, and I didn't want to reflect myself as a fuck boy. The reflection I got out of this moment is not only that I impacted someone else, but also the reverberation of what you do echoes in eternity. So it's not something that you just one droplet in a pond. You're a very powerful ripple, and to know where your ripple goes and what you do with your actions and what you do with your words and what you do with your intentions echo into eternity. There's no way that you're going to just not shine on someone or sin on someone. There's this whole realm they created religion from because of all of our carnal pleasures. I had to dig deep. Let's do some psychology of why I was dating MILFs. Why was I always dating moms? What did I find comforting about them? Was it purely just sexual? Was I trying to fix my mom's relationship with my father? Was I something about their nurturing and already pre-programmed to have children? Maybe they were pre-selected, and I'm doing this subconsciously, like I'm choosing chicks that already have kids as proof that they have kids, almost like women choosing men that already have a girlfriend. It's like, well, he puts up with her shit, maybe he can put up with mine. We start doing things subconsciously, and then I had to look deeper into myself and see things when of like of envy, or when I'm sitting there and I'm going like, yeah, man, I want a woman too. So I get jealous. So it's like, yeah, I want to be competitive. I want to have women too. I want to have threesomes. I want to have. I was at the Super Sauna last night, and there were half naked women everywhere. There's maybe 100 people at this party swimming at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning in a river, doing saunas, half naked, mostly topless, booty hanging everywhere, thongs. It was a moment, and I'm in this moment, and I couldn't unstick myself from being shy, and to be able to say something with a label that talks about choosing direction and how to change your energy from all the things that your carnal desires and addictions are, and point it towards something that is of fruition, of asset to you, instead of a liability, instead of something that was a detriment to yourself, like an addiction. You can do something saintly for yourself, like healthy exercise, fucking balanced thoughts, relationships with friends, healthy relationships. Sitting every day smoking weed and just doing that every day. And I know a lot of friends here, I call it the Tickerilla triangle, where they're just stuck in a triangle, just doing the same thing over and over again with each other, never going anywhere. Bless me. Never doing anything differently, just holding patterns. And for somebody like myself that talks about always trying to break patterns and how much power there is in breaking a pattern and getting someone off an addiction and start getting them on a passion, what kind of energy you could give, because you're already giving energy, just whether you're succumbing to it or not, So that's what did I just do with that fucking weed, dude? Stoner. Oh man. Don't tell me I left it. Don't tell me I left it. Oh dude, what do I do with my weed? Oh man. Oh, how much I'm addicted to weed, and how that I keep it around to regulate my mood, and how I can sometimes be so fucking whacked out. My homie got me so fucking high and baked the other day that it literally sent me to like another fucking dimension, and then I didn't know. I actually ended up throwing up on myself, which is really embarrassing. And now I got to tell live television about that. It was just too much, bro. He like put bubble hash on top of hash on top of something else. And I ended up throwing up pretty hard and taking a long time to recover. I actually had to take like a 2 hour nap, sleep it off. And they're like, you still want to smoke, bro? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm kind of done with I've had to learn, my strengths and my weaknesses, and to figure out, what ticks in me, the little secret spots of my psyche, where I choose to respond things in a panic manner, or if I choose to hold envy or hold score. It's another thing I think that we do is we're just like, oh well, they said that rude thing to me. Well, I'm gonna get them back, and I'm gonna play the petty police, and I'm gonna be in the pain Olympics and constantly battle for those things to be that way. And that's what I think we all end up doing. We all end up doing some unfortunate self-sabotaging things because then we choose to put that avatar in the game. We choose to let that guy do the responding. We choose to feel a certain type of way, and it damages us. You know what I'm saying? It damages us in a way I don't think that we can calculate. Only when we've seen it through someone else's eyes can you be like, oh, now I realize what I've done and the harm that I've caused, and how I could have improved. Oh, what's up, Childress? Thanks, brother. I heard part one. Yeah, my homie was like, just cut. And it's really weird to be at someone else's home because then they have control over you. And he's got some plants he didn't want people to see, and I understand. And just uncomfortable with maybe his self. It's like I can live in a world where I'm free and talk about things freely. He lives in a world where he could be arrested for it. They could search his house. He was explaining it to me. I totally get it. I don't know, man. It's like some people get weird. He wanted to take photos. I wanted to take videos. It's like we weren't on the same page for the first time, and it's all good. He knows my show, but I don't want him to feel uncomfortable in his own house. I don't want him to feel like he can't be himself in his own house. That makes no sense whatsoever. And yeah, I'm still kind of searching for some weed that I lost here. I got one mug that I got in the shirt that I borrowed. But yeah, man, life is weird like this. We have some weird shit going on where I think we as people need to start keying in on the way we respond. And I mean that in a very sincere, deeper way where we choose pass on did we feel slighted, or are we trying to keep score, or fuck that motherfucker, and like we kind of do that kind of activity where we can be a certain type of way. We can be in full bitch mode, resting bitch face, and put on our fucking headphones and just ignore people. We can be in that mode where we just don't even see people. It's not a loving mode. It's not a Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi type mode. It's a very selfish, worried, fear-based mode, and we've all seen it when somebody was trying to walk past us and ignore us and pretend that they didn't see another human being. And you start living a certain type of way. You start responding and reverberating a certain type of way. Now you're not in this Christ-like, all love cures all. Let me open up. Let me have more people come in and get in on this vibe. Now all of a sudden it's a very restrictive thing. Now all of a sudden it's like I'm pre-assuming that people are going to annoy me, so therefore I'm going to put on my headphones and I'm going to ignore motherfuckers for a long ass minute. Da 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 da. By the way, that one guy made fun of me back in 9th grade, so I'm gonna keep my position at my job instead of living the life that I love. That was from years ago. So it's one of those that we choose paths all the time. We choose a type of avatar that we want to show up in our lives. And unfortunately, we keep sending that guy or girl into the game with a pre-assumed attitude and problem. And it's unfortunate. And it's something that I just wanted to bring up because I started noticing it myself. That especially if I was that's more, I don't know, I don't want to say suave, but definitely more with more self-control. Here, I'm just putting my shirt designs away. With more self-control than I showed in my worst moments, not having any self-control and showing myself not worthy of fatherhood. It's a whole thing for you to be able to let a pregnant woman go off on you and not feel like you're in danger or make her feel like she's in danger. I had to learn a lesson about self-restraint and picking my battles and not fucking taking offense to everything and seeing myself through that lens that if I take offense, then I take the piss and then I'm really fucking up. And I didn't want to fuck up anymore. I didn't want to do things that I don't necessarily would do when I had better judgment or I was feeling more mentally healthy or I wasn't in my own way. I think that we, as human beings, we get in set default modes, especially mammals and in human structure, especially it's like, what's going to make me feel comfortable? What's going to ease my worries? What's going to ease my fears? Well, shit, yeah, and that's me drinking and hanging out with my friends in the park. Well, you can wear that out too. And what ends up happening is I see here is like you get in a pattern with other people and they're holding the pattern down with you, the Tickerilla triangle. We're now money on beer. There's never enough beer. So all your beer money, all your hard work money, all your unemployment money goes towards an alcohol, a substance, and it keeps you on that rhythm. So now when you come see somebody like me that goes and travels and stops drinking and spends my money on travel, I'm a travel addict too. I shouldn't spend all my money like I do the way that I travel, but I do. We all have patterns. We all have ways to satiate ourselves. And then I'm going to marry the weed. How much further ahead I'd be if I didn't spend as much money as I did on weed, or what kind of savings account I would have. I'm sure there's people that are embarrassed of their money that they spend on cigarettes. I know it was like a factoid that I saw from before that shocked me, like the amount of money people spend on their addictions to keep their pattern. So it's one thing to keep a pattern and it keeps your life in one certain way, and then that you're wasting time and you're not living your full life. But it's a whole nother motherfucking thing when it starts eating away at your future time. You get what I'm saying? So now you're holding this one pattern, this one way that you thought your life would go. Like I thought I would be a father by now and I'd be in love with my wife and we'd build a big old family. Now I'm not in that trajectory. Now I'm the guy that rolls around in Finland and fucking stares at the clouds and enjoys sunny days and sitting in the park. I too want to hold on to a certain pattern of comfort and don't get me excluded. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the group with motherfuckers. I'm just saying that I also identify that I also got really comfortable and wanted to hold the pattern, just smoking on some trees, joking with the homies, no responsibilities. Like who doesn't want to live life like a motherfucking I call it Peter Pan syndrome, you know, like you never want to grow up. Lost boys forever, da 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 da. And then, then there comes the bills, and then there comes the day you got to get up at 5 a.m. and you got to grind and you got to get it, and you got kids, and you got to stay responsible, and you got to stop traveling, you got to choose them. And it was kind of this whole thing I didn't even know I was prepared for. Everybody's like, you sure Mark's ready? And I'm like, ready as I'll ever be. I'm ready to be a father since I was 8 years old. But what I didn't know was part of it was compromise. And how, I mean, it sounds stupid to say that because of course there's compromise, bro. It's a fucking marriage. No, I mean how much I would have to compromise myself, how much I would have to give up as far as like traveling, and this time I'm here with my friends would have been gone. Like the bachelor life that I live in this topless women walking around fucking G thongs last night probably wouldn't be in my memory right now, because I would have been living an alternative life, kind of like Pivy did, going in the opposite direction. And she went home to her kids, kissed them on the cheek, made sure they were tucked in at night, even though she went out last night, the night before. She's still who she is. And you all get to choose who your character is and how you keep showing up in your story. And that's why I thought it was so interesting, is the guy that I had starting up story was trying to be cocky funny and ended up just being cocky. And he was just like always flexing, and I'm too short to flex that much. I'm only 5'7", and I didn't realize that I had like some kind of Napoleon syndrome. I don't even want to classify it that way because I don't feel it that way. But I had my own little narcissistic tendencies, that I would date someone with narcissism, that both my parents would have narcissism, that I would have to identify that I'm not the only person in the room. I don't have to keep the conversations going. I don't have to get into situations that I don't feel comfortable with. And I don't have to respect this shit, bro. Like, it's taken me 43 years to assume this knowledge and pay attention to the little part of me, the little Mark, the 10-year-old version of me. I'm looking for this. There it is. The shot glass. The 10-year-old version of me that really doesn't like to lose. So then I'm gonna go fucking keep secret count in my head of all the favors I did for you and all the favors you didn't do for me. It's so like my grandma, where she'll send out what do you call them, Christmas cards, but she's counting if you're sending it back. She's counting if you called for her birthday. She's sending it to keep count. She's not sending it so you feel good. And it's some shit like that that we end up doing all the fucking time as people. You know what I mean? Like we do that shit all the fucking time. We'll get in secret competitions with other people and the way that they live their lives instead of living our actual lives, instead of getting up off our asses, off these devices, and taking a chance to make someone else's day, giving them a compliment. And I mean all people, not just women, and in any interaction, and having that person show up that has a positive reaction, that has a healthy look, that has a healthy glow about their lives. That person's gonna get a way different response in life than the fucking grumpy dude who's picking up fucking 2 12 packs again, and the sun shines out, but they can't wait to go to their house and stay inside and stay pale and stay on the same circuit. You know, that's that same shit. Like what's his face would say? What's our boy? What's his name? The same. I'm not going to the same party. I'm not doing the same things like Cat Williams said. No, I'm not doing that same shit no more. And that's what people would like to do. They would like you to be that role in their lives, fucking character 27, episode 23. You're the gringo in the story of their lives, and they want you to hold that pattern, typecast you into a role. And like, why is Mark not showing up again? It's been a week. You know, I'm off to Berlin, bro. I'm off to something else. I have to break free of my monotony also, and holding on to patterns, and holding on to regrets, and little slights that I feel slighted. So then I'm gonna always have like a chip on my shoulder, and it's some bullshit like that that'll get me to respond negatively to somebody, and then that'll make me fucking lose another opportunity. And it happens all the fucking time. I'm gonna slip again. I'm just looking for something to mix this with. And then to lose a fucking opportunity because I was fucking feeling salty, or I felt assaulted, or I felt like someone didn't understand me and shit like that. It all adds up, bro. It all adds up. You can say you didn't get the opportunity because you didn't make it. You didn't say how you missed the opportunity because you were faking it. Like you weren't in the right mood or right frame of mind, so then it never got done right, and now you're stuck. And most people don't talk that way. They don't keep it real with themselves. They don't talk about how fucking life happens, and it's hard to fucking keep yourself going, and the amount of fucking extra effort it takes when you have no effort to give. And that moment when you were feeling fucking salty and angry and tired, and all the other halt systems, hungry, hangry, fucking angry, lonely and tired, all those things add up, and then you're going into a situation and you fuck it up into situations. And because you were stressed earlier, you might have took it out on the flight attendant later, and then you didn't tip them, so then they're not picking you up tomorrow morning when you needed to get to wherever you needed to get to. It's shit like that that we do to ourselves, and there's not no one else to blame. You will be taught by your anger. Straight the fuck up. Each one of us will be taught by our anger. It's not like it's a fucking choice. It's coming with a message every fucking time. So even if we don't want to listen, even if we want to do what we want, there's always consequences for getting exactly what we want. There's a balance here that most of us don't even fucking see, but there is a balance in life. Like if you get too much of one thing, it's going to numb you out, and then it's not going to be good as the next thing. And that's what's really weird about our systems and our brains and the way we develop emotions and how we regulate our own happiness. You'll see, dude, you'll see quickly how motivated you are. You'll see where your time goes. You'll see where your money goes. You'll see what you spend energy on. And then it's like, oh shit, man, I am really kind of committed to the weed. I am really committed to the drink. I am really committed to putting energy into this. What would I would put energy into? What would I do differently? What would my results look like if I'd actually capitalized? And that's what I started doing. I started going like, man, I'm up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning watching topless girls swim last night at Supasana. What if I was up to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning working on designs every night? You know what I'm saying? Like how much better of a designer I would be, or maybe I needed to be in that moment. You know, people handing me spliffs and watching titties out and booties and thongs and fucking live music and saunas, and it was just a moment, bro. It was like a real fucking like only in fucking Finland do they got half naked enjoying the midsummer festival after being locked up for so long in the winter. You too would be booty butt naked around strangers, fucking having a sip and a toke or something, and it was an amazing experience. So I'm knocking the experience, not at all. It was something I'm grateful I got to be a part of. I'm just saying, like, to be able to be that energy. If you're in your 20s, that energy's right there. We were outside of the nightclub too. That energy's right there where all the girls have to look a certain way so they can gain entry into the club. We watched that whole, and it's one of those things like maybe we don't key in on it, and that's cool too, but maybe it's a phase. Maybe the other people are sitting there in their 30s and they're like, I can't believe I used to spend 10 euros a beer at a place where they charged me to get in, where I waited with my best clothes and I tried to look just pure sexy. And like my buddy said, that system only works for when you got cocaine and money. Then that system works. Then you got all the friends you never wanted, then you feel like you're the man, and then you spend your money frivolously, and then you live unhealthily. It's just weird, the phases that we choose in our lives. It's not like it's the first time anybody's ever had to figure it out in their lives and to go, okay, this is my priorities right now. My priority is getting to this club because these girls look so good, or the girls, we look so good right now. This is the only time I feel free, is being at the club and having people stare at me type shit. You know, we choose what to do with our energy. We choose what to do with our time. We choose how to respond, and it adds up to a life. So it's just one of those things that I've been really keying in on, is like how I spend my time and my life. Right now I'm back home. I kind of wanted to be outside, but the homie wanted to take photos, and I think it got a little bit weird, so I didn't understand though. So I'm like, go ahead, you stay weird. You guys go take photos by yourselves. I'm not into that shit. You can go do whatever kind of gay shit you want to do behind. Just don't involve me. Be straight up with me. Tell me what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be my homie, and I don't understand what's going on with it. And then, like, I really understand that I don't really understand anyone. So even if I'm really close with a friend or intimate with a lover, there are people out there that have subversive things going on in their head where they are wanting of something but not explaining it the way it could be, or the way that they are intending it to be. So that's the thing that I had to be real with my own intentions with Satan's addiction, and say, oh yeah, man, I still love to masturbate and do my porn, and that's a little weird to say, on a live, but it's the truth. And then I go with my truth and my honesty about how I love the female form, and I've always loved porn, and I always loved the sensation of fucking and masturbating, and I'm horny. I wish I fucking had more sex than I'm actually having, like most people out in the world. I'm just keeping it real. But it's also one of those things where I didn't want to be the only one keeping it real. I wanted to be other people to be like, tell us about what's behind door number 2, and they're afraid to be judged. And being judged, I'm not so afraid of. So I do this show and I say weird shit about myself and my past and my family. Most people wouldn't be able to say that shit. Most people don't want to be live, and that's what the whole point my homie was saying. They don't want people to see their lives. They don't want to see behind the scenes. Hell, they don't want to even look behind the scenes of their own lives, let alone my behind the scenes. So it's one of those things, the level of consciousness and honesty that you live your life by. And if you can get that in alignment, then you get a true a sense of what I was trying to explain with Saint's addiction, and how, yeah, I can paint my fingers because I was dating some girls, but no, that doesn't make me gay, and never have, never will. And then it's like, it's also one of those things where I wish I had more game to talk to the hot chicks last night while they're naked, or maybe them want me, or vice versa, whatever. I am depressed and I want to be shiny. What if people don't talk about that very much, do they, Mr. Energy? No, they don't. So that's what I've been talking about on my show. And so I said, take 2. Take a second look at what things you secretly do, and do you bite your lip, and do you keep score, and do you do yourself an honor by showing up and bringing the light, or do you get out there and you got a chip on your shoulder and you got a plight? Your choice. Saints addiction, your boy Marky Saint, mostly Saints. We out here with our halo and horns on at the same time, keeping it real about life. It's not easy to do, but it's what I do on this channel. I feel like it's about mental health, so I'm gonna smoke this bowl. I'll see you on the other side. Peace and love. And as always, chigata. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. This is a dual match situation. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'll definitely see you on the other side. Peace.